If you are pregnant or preparing to become pregnant, you have probably heard the term ring of fire, which is the term some women use to describe a burning sensation as baby is coming out of you, a burning sensation specifically in the vagina. And this is caused by the perineum stretching as baby's head comes out. Now, not all women experience this ring of fire. For me, I don't really remember experiencing it with my son. I was actually more numb by that point. I didn't have an epidural, but there was so much pressure on the perineum, and I'd been in labor for long enough where I felt like there had been this buildup of endorphins. So I felt more pressure than a ring of fire. With my daughter, yeah, I felt the ring of fire more, but she also came out a lot faster. So the perineum didn't have as much time to expand. At least that's my hypothesis of why that happened. So how can we maybe not necessarily totally prevent, but at least minimize the intensity of the ring of fire and also minimize the chance that you tear during childbirth? So one of the most effective things that you can do is start doing what's called the perineal tissue massage, probably around like by week 34 of gestation. And if you can, doing it every single day for like 5 to 10 minutes, at least five days a week. And I'm going to put a link in the video description to a video that I made specifically about how to do the perineal tissue massage. Essentially, what you're doing is you're coating your thumb, your these two fingers, pointer and middle finger, in an oil like olive oil, almond oil, jojoba oil, sticking it about 2 inches into the vagina and then going like this, kind of helping to stretch out the perineum, those muscles. And this helps to physically prepare the perineum, help it kind of stretch out more, become more elastic. And it also helps you prepare mentally. It helps you begin to get used to a stretching sensation in the vagina. So I highly, highly recommend doing the perineal tissue massage. Again, that is really the number one thing that you can do to reduce the intensity of that ring of fire. All right, so something else that you can do is get baby in the optimal position before you go into labor, ideally. So the ideal position for the baby is called the cephalic presentation. And this means that the baby is head down, not in the breech position, number one, and that the back of the baby's head is facing the front of your body. So if the baby's face was pointing towards the front of your body, that would be called the like sunny side up position. So ideally, the back of baby's head is pointing towards the front of your body. So your care provider will likely be able to tell you if they suspect that baby is in that sunny side up position. And if so, there are ways that you can help to encourage them to get into the optimal position for birth before going into labor. So you can get into the child's pose, the yoga position child's pose, and really, really stick your butt up in the air. You can also kind of gently sway your hips and stay in this position for about 5 minutes unless you get lightheaded. If you do, just gently ease out of the position. And this and all of the other little tips I'm going to give you in regards to shifting baby's position, the idea is that they just give your baby a little bit of space, because often babies naturally want to get into that cephalic presentation. So we're just trying to get them give them enough space to get into that ideal position. You can get on your hands and your knees and kind of gyrate your hips, encourage a little bit of motion. As often as you can, sit in a position where your pelvis and belly are tilted forward. Sitting on a wedge cushion can help this. And if you're sitting on a birth ball, make sure that your knees are lower than your pelvis. You also want to sleep on your side instead of your back. Avoid sitting in bucket seats or leaning really far back in the sofa, which I know is an annoying suggestion. All right, next thing you can do to at least reduce the intensity of the ring of fire is to prepare the pelvic structure. So a great way to do this is to get into a deep squat, having a spotter, somebody to support you, or that child's pose, the cat-cow yoga position. These can all help to relax and lengthen your pelvic floor muscles. Practice birth breathing while pooping. So the birth breath can be an alternative to that like heavy duty pushing, that heavy duty pushing can potentially increase the chance of tearing and can intensify that ring of fire. So the birth breath, to do it, you take in a deep inhalation and then exhale. And you're envisioning as you exhale the power of that breath going down the back of your throat, down through the uterus and out the vagina. And what this does is it actually stimulates the natural expulsive reflex and supports your body in getting the baby out, but it does it in a more gentle manner than that heavy duty pushing. And a great way to practice it is when you're having a bowel movement. And when you do this breath, a lot of times it causes the fecal matter to come out. So it helps to essentially prove to your mind and your body that this breath can work to get your baby out. And I've seen many women use only this breath or a combination of this breath and the heavy duty pushing to get their baby out. So it does work. You can ask your care provider how they typically guide women in pushing the baby out. And if you don't really resonate with any of their protocol, you can ask them to make adjustments. Okay, next, this is one of my favorites, utilizing the laboring down technique. So what this means is that after you're told that you're 10 centimeters, instead of immediately starting to push or do the birth breath, you just continue to breathe through surges, and that's it. You just continue to breathe until you have the overwhelming urge to push or breathe your baby down. And so this means that your body is getting your baby further and further and further down, 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 just naturally on its own without you doing any pushing, without you forcing the baby out. And this gives your perineum more time to unfold and start to spread out. And this also helps to conserve your energy. So again, just continuing to do as you did through active labor, just trying to relax, breathe through surges until it feels like your body is like pushing the baby out without you being even aware of it. It just happens on its own. Okay, you want to get into a position that takes the weight off of your tailbone during labor. So standing, kneeling, squatting, being on all fours, or laying on your side are some of the best positions to help the pelvis expand and to potentially lead to an easier emergence for the baby. Applying a warm compress and oil to the perineum as your baby is getting closer to emerging helps to soften the perineum and helps to reduce the chance of the tearing, makes all the sensations down there maybe a little bit more comfortable. And then last, just totally go limp during contractions. Just allow yourself to relax, to breathe, to soften the perineum, to just allow everything to go totally limp. All right, if you have any questions about the Ring of Fire, any other questions about pregnancy, childbirth, early motherhood, please let me know in the comments below.